Hello students, welcome to TMPS Educational Institution online classes. Before I start the class, there is an important message for everyone from the institution. Please stay safe during this pandemic. Wash your hands at regular intervals with a soap or hand wash. Wear mask whenever you go outside your home, and please maintain social distancing while interacting with everyone. And on top of that, please use hand sanitizer when you are outside, and please try to stay indoors as much as possible. So now I'll start the class. Today I am going to take up computers with all of you. The topics which we are going to discuss is introduction of computers, evolution of computer, generation of computers, operating system and various operating systems. So first I am going to do introduction of computers, how the computers were introduced, how they were invented. Okay, so the computers which we use today are not the computers which were invented early. They were only used for calculation. They were just a calculation device. Earlier computers were far different from today's modern computer. Earlier computers were only used for doing calculations. They only did addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Nothing else was done by the earlier computers. Abacus was the first calculating device, or we can say abacus was the first computer which was invented 2000 years ago in Babylonia, Mesopotamia. This was the first calculating device, or we can also say the first computers. Here is an example of abacus. These are two things are abacus, which we can see there are two sets, and these sets were used for counting, addition, subtraction. We all can say that this was the first computer. Okay, so we'll come to the next topic. Generation of computers. In generation we are going to study that how the computers evolved, how they were slowly developed, how all the things were added in the computer. So the first generation, it was vacuum based. Like we can see our bulb, everything was stored in a vacuum tubes, and vacuum tubes were placed like this, as we can see in the picture. It was vacuum based. It was very large in size. We can see it could take up the whole room or a whole floor. They have very small storage capacity. They were very expensive. And the examples of first generation computers are Mark I, ENIAC and UNIVAC. This is the ENIAC computer, electronic numerical integrator and computer. These four pictures show how the ENIAC or first generation computers were. This is Mark I, the first generation computer, Mark I. As you can see, the whole floor is taken by the computer, the whole floor. It is a single computer, it's not a machinery. And this is UNIVAC, Universal Automatic Computer. You can also see in this picture the whole room is taken up by the computer. So as we can see, the first generation computers were very large in size and very costly. Now we come to the second generation computers. These were developed using transistors. So when the transistors came, the size of computers decreased as compared to the first generation computers. They were smaller, faster and energy efficient as compared to first generation computers, because in the picture we cannot see that they are much smaller. And they also supported components like printers, keyboards, hard drives, etc. They were expensive but cheaper than the second generation computer. These two are the example of second generation computer, IBM. They were developed by a company named IBM. Now we come to the third generation computer. The third generation were developed using integrated circuits, or also known as chips. They were small chips, and it was developed using these chips. they were smaller and cheaper as compared to the second generation computer. As we can see, they were much smaller in size as compared to the second generation, but not as much smaller as we use computers nowadays. They used an operating system. Yes, we can see here they used an operating system. The two companies which developed third generation computers are IBM and Honeywell. They also used keyboard for input and monitor for an output. In earlier generation computers, no output was received on the monitors. And now we come to the fourth generation computer, which is also known as our modern day generation computers. These were developed using microprocessor technology. This is the microprocessor. These computers were developed using these microprocessors, which helped them to reduce its size abruptly. The size of computer with the help of this microprocessor reduced, and it can placed on a desktop or a table. These computers, fourth generation computers, generates very low heat, and they are cheapest among all the generation of computers. They are small in size as compared to each and every generation of computers. So here we come to the end of our generation of computers. Now we are going to start with operating system. To operate a computer, we need an operating system. The work of operating system is only to create an interface or an interaction between a computer and user. User means us, the human beings, and the computer, that is the machine. Because the computer do not have its own knowledge or intelligence, it understands the command which we give to the computer, and then it processes the information. So operating system is the first program that is loaded in the memory of the computer as soon as the computer is turned on. It is also called booting. Operating system is a type of system software that is and most important program of the computer. It is the most important program because without an operating system, the computer will never operate. It is an interface between user and computer, controls all peripheral devices like printers, keyboard and mouse, etc. Makes computer more convenient to use. The examples of operating system are Windows, which everyone uses, Mac OS, it is basically used by Apple company, and Linux and etc. So now we study why there was a need for an operating system. As I told you, operating system is an interface between users and humans. The operating system needs command from the user because it does not have its own thinking or own knowledge. It only acts to the commands which we give. So the computer do not understand the language of humans. It only understand the language that is binary digit language 0 and 1. Everything, every command we give in the computer is converted in zeros and ones, and this thing is done by the operating system. Each and every click, each and every depression which we make on the keyboard is converted in 0 and 1, and this performance is done by the operating system. And when the computer gives an output, it gives in 0 and 1 form, and then the operating system converts it back to the language which we can understand. So it is very important for an operating system to computer because it creates an interface between humans and computer. Very difficult to code programs in binary digit. Whatever programs we write, whatever commands we will give to the computer, it will be very difficult to give in binary language because everything has to be converted in 0 and 1, and it will become very lengthy language. That's why there is always a need for an operating system. Now this is the structure of an operating system. In between is the operating system. These are the human users which interact with the operating system and also interact with the application software, and the hardware and the other system softwares like Microsoft Office, Paint, Google Chrome, they also interact with operating system. The information first goes like this, it converts back, goes to operating system and then goes to humans again. So this is the basic structure of operating system. It is a 4-layer structure. Now we'll come to the next topic, that is various operating system. The first one is disk operating system. It was the first operating system developed for the computers. This was the first operating system which was developed, and the commands were given in this operating system. It is not of the operating system like we use now, Windows. Here the commands were given for anything to make computer understand. It was a single user and single task. Single user means only one user, and one user can perform one task at a time. Then came Unix. It was multi-user operating system. Many users can operate in this operating system, and because of its multi-using operating system, it was basically used in servers. Now comes Windows. It was introduced in 1985 for home and business purpose. Provides graphical user interface. We can see graphics and icons in our windows. We can click from the mouse and give command to the computers, but it was not in the disk operating system. Here the command was given using the keyboard only. Now comes the Macintosh. The Macintosh was introduced by the Apple company in the year 1984. It was the first widely sold operating system. It is only used by Apple company, and it is used in Apple MacBooks or laptops. The last one is Linux. It is also a Unix-like operating system. It is free or very low cost operating system. So now here we come to the end of our class. Thank you so much. Please, I request all of you to stay safe and take care, and I would like to pray so that this pandemic could end soon and we can resume our offline classes. Thank you so much.